Hey everyone, Jamie back with another tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to install the Claude HUD, or if you want to call it Claude HUD, by Jarrod Watts on this GitHub repo. Not going to keep it a secret, by the way. It's right here if you want to go and grab it. Essentially, I had this showing on my VS Code in the last video. It was underneath here. I've now uninstalled it so I can show you how to install it. It's very, very simple, by the way. And this is inside of the Claude CLI, which is the basically command line terminal where you will be writing prompts, asking questions, talking with your AI model, i.e. Claude, Sonnet, Opus 4.8, etc. Whatever model is trending today, Fable 5, or if it's like Mythos, the end of the world, who knows. Let's focus on getting this done. Now, the biggest reason why you want this is because when you're using the standard chat feature in VS Code or just Claude in general, you have to go through the menus. You have to go and look for what your usage is on your account, right? There's a 5-hour window. There's a 7-day window on your account. And it's very easy to max out your usage depending on A, your model of choice, B, how much you're doing specifically, and C, if you're running subagents and swarms, which will just max out token usage because you have multiple instances of Claude working. And that eats tokens, which results in your usage being eaten up. Last thing is it's based on your plan. Are you a pro user? Are you a max user? Maybe you're using different models, but you're using the Claude Code terminal. That's, again, something more intermediate and advanced. We can talk about this later on in different videos. But for this one, it's nice to see how much usage you have. It's nice to see how much context you've been using. Context being, do you have to clear its memory? Is it getting more expensive for it to remember everything you've been asking it? This happens a lot in AI models where you've been using one chat, it's getting very crowded, you've been sending hundreds of messages and prompts, and it's starting to act a little weird. Well, in Claude, you can basically reset that, and that's part of what you can see with this tool. So the first thing you want to do is going back to the actual site. I keep things really simple. I just take the URL of the GitHub repo, like it's that simple. Obviously, you can read through here and understand what this is to really give you context from a beginner level. GitHub is a place where you store your files, your code, projects, things you're building that are tools, extensions, plugins. There are things on here that are probably not safe, and there are things on here that are. You have to understand what it is that you're using. So for some more context on the right here, there is always an about section that talks about what this is in summary. This is a Claude Code plugin that shows what's happening, context usage, active tools, running agents, and a to-do progress. This is, of course, going to show you more details underneath. It's going to give you instructions based on how the founder and creator made this. Here's a deeper definition if you're curious. So what is Claude HUD? Claude HUD gives you a better insights into what's happening in your Claude Code session. So project path, context health, tool activity, agent tracking, to-do progress. I already mentioned it earlier, but this is what it does. And there's a lot more you can read here, so I'll let you do that on your own time. Again, copy the link URL, go back into VS Code. I'm going to write, can you look at this GitHub repo and can you install this? And I'm just going to link the URL there and hit enter. And we're going to let this run and see what it wants us to confirm, not confirm. Now, context, I use the Pro plan. So I don't believe I actually have access to auto mode on here. I'll have to check. And so I have to sort of grant permission access like this. So it's asking me, do I want to allow it to fetch and go to the URL, the GitHub link, so Claude can go look at this link on its own ability and hit yes, and don't ask me that again, because I really don't want to be approving every step of the way. You can see here that it's fetching the link, and you can see here it's using tokens. Now, this is, again, summarizing what it is. So it's talking about what it is, blah, 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 blah. So now it's asking me to run these commands to set it up. You can see it here. To install, run these in order. So if I was to type /plugin, marketplace, add Jarrod Watts /Claude HUD. So now it's cloning it to my Claude directory, my folder on my computer. So now it's done that. So now I can type /plugin install Claude -HUD. So now it's saying, hey, wait, before we do this, make sure that you know what this is. This goes back to what I was mentioning earlier, like some stuff you never know. You never know if something is malware. You never know if something is, going to cause issues on your computer. Now, don't let me scare you. To give you some more context here on GitHub repos at the top, a big indicator is how many are watching it, how many forks there are. A fork means someone took this code and they are making their own version, or they're copying this entire directory of information, like the files. And that's usually for if they're trying to test things, if they're trying to take that and build on top of it. It's kind of what happens in the development space, the software space, etc. Then there's starred. Starred is the big indicator. A lot of GitHub repos will have massive star amounts. If they have very little stars, it's probably not known. So you want to really do your research. But this one, it's well known. I trust it. I've been using it for months and I think it's fine. The star feature also puts it into like a favorites list. So you can check your starred list and see things that you want to come back to later. So now this is asking me, do I want to install this for me? Do I want to install this for all my collaborators? Which just means anybody who is using this or different accounts, etc., or only install for me in this repo only. I'm going to say for all because I use Claude in many different folders, many different projects, and I want this to be installed across the board. So now, once it's installed, I have to type /reload plugins. And this is because I have to reload the interface for it to show. So that's done. So now I'm going to type /Claude, the last one, HUD, setup. And it's probably going to set it up with the specific details we're looking for. It's taking us through a wizard, which is the installing process. A lot of the things it talks about here, I'm not 100% familiar with what it's doing and going into. Like this is really deep in the directories of your computer. So it's always interesting to look at it and be like, what is that? What is it doing? Now it opened up a code block here. It's showing me what it's doing. It's asking me to confirm. Going to allow it to edit this. It's asking for permission. Then I got an error. So now it's going to look into what's going wrong. And this is the great thing about Claude. It's going to go and investigate. And you can watch real time. So now you can see that at the bottom of my Claude CLI chat, it was showing a little bit of what the interface looks like. Enable any optional features beyond the default 2-line displays. So if I do this, I can show everything there. I'm going to have it show every single thing because I want to know what's going on. It asked me how often I wanted it to reset. The recommendation was 5 seconds, so I hit yes. So now the setup is complete. It installed everything. I set my settings correctly through the wizard, and now it should appear at the bottom, which it does. So now I'm going to type /clear to clear my chat. And you can see here that the Claude HUD is now installed. You can see it shows Sonnet 5, which is the model I'm using. It shows test folder, which is the folder I'm inside right now, inside VS Code. Like if you go to File, Open Folder, you can open any folder. It'll tell you that folder name. It will show me my context window, which is now 0 because I did /clear. So the context window is empty. As you use it more, I was talking about this earlier, it'll get higher in the percent. When context reaches like 40%, you may want to do a /compact, and this frees up context. And then there's the usage, which is 5%. And it tells me of my 5-hour window, it resets in 4 hours and 39 minutes. So if I max this out, I have to wait. Now, the one thing it's not showing is my 7-day timer. I would imagine that once this reaches the max limit, I can show that. Now, something else you can do is type /usage, and it will then present this to you as well. So you can see that my usage is 5% still, showing the same thing, and it's showing 12% for the week itself. So that's interesting to see as well. And there's more information obviously below on where is your usage coming from. Could it be from skills that you have running? Could it be from something else? Could it be from higher input usage from agents, right? There's many different things that can cause this. So it always likes to break down how that's happening. And then if we look at stats, it'll break down details about your account. So that's really cool. But this isn't tied to this plugin. I'm just sharing some interesting things while we're here. So that's basically it. We've now installed this plugin. It'll always sit here when you open a new chat. If I was to click this, it'll open a new one. It'll run it, and there it is. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, what kind of videos and content you want me to cover, and if you have any questions. Talk to you next time. Enjoy.